Morning, folks. So I'm grounded for the day. Had a bit of a medical procedure this week, so not going to be able to fish, but that's okay. We're taking some time to redo or refill, I should say, the fly boxes. So today we're going to do the Jack Daniels that you've heard me talk about on numerous occasions. Yeah, killer fly, great tag fly, great trailer fly. If you're going to be fishing under an indicator. So hope you enjoy. Good morning, folks. So as we start this off, this Jack Daniels, I am tying this on a Fulling Mills FM 50 45. It's a jig force in black nickel on a size 20. And I'm using a slotted tungsten 2.0 bead. These are great tag flies for the folks Euro Nymphing out there. They also work wonderfully for regular trailers if you're doing a dual fly rig, fishing nymphs underneath an indicator. So we're using Semper Fly. This is 24/0. I like the little finer thread, doesn't build up as quick. I've gone ahead and set it up where I've locked the bead in place. And now we're going to go back and set the tail. You can use, I've used pheasant tails on these. Also, I like the mallard feathers. Setting those up. Snip off a piece here. Okay. And we'll bring that back. Lock that in place, bring it all the way back. So, and this thread is white in color, but you'll see that it darkens as we move forward. I also like to lock it underneath a couple times, kind of keeps the tail up. I like to tie the tails a little longer, just for the action on them. So we'll bring this up. And because I've locked the bead in, I'm not going to bring this all the way up to the bead. Kind of gives it that tapered finish, which is ultimately, I guess, what we're looking for as we go through this. So we'll lock that all down. And we'll follow it down and bring it back up a couple times, give it that tapered look. Because I'm using the Semper Fi thread, it's really almost transparent. So it kind of takes on the colorations of anything underneath it. So that makes life a little easier there. Kind of darkens up the body. And I just try and make even wraps. Bringing it across. Some folks will tie in a wire on this. The problem I found with the extra fine wire is, of course, the fish have absolutely no respect for your work, and they tend to break those wires off, and you lose your ribbing that way. So with that in mind, I just use the black Sharpie for the ribbing. I'll spin that thread, get it set up. Get it together, it'll rise a little bit more that way. Go ahead and close the Sharpie before I paint something else. And yeah, so you just bring it forward for your ribbing. Try and do the expanded wraps there. Try and keep it. Now this is a rotating vise, but I tend to prefer to do this one, keeping everything locked in there. Give it a double wrap at the end and then just bring it forward till it back to the regular threads. One of the things on this body, because it is a thread body, I like to do a nice heavy UV coat. That way you don't have to worry much about it. I haven't had one tear the body apart yet, but I'm sure it will happen. Make sure we get that all in there. Do a nice even coat across. Got a little bit of a bubble there. Easy way to fix that. Just use the probe here. Bring it back across. Pull it away, and it will actually bring that UV glue with it. Go ahead and treat the body. Got it ribbed there. Okay. So before I get UV glue everywhere, I'm just gonna hit the probe real quick. All right. So now we're ready to set this up for the thorax here. So it's a super quick fly to tie. So we'll hit this. I'm going to use the Hairline Ice Dub Gold as we look at this. I find the gold works really well. I also have used the Hairline Ice Dub Olive. Both seem to work really well on these. If you had a gray, I think that would work just as well as something in a UV, just a little bit of flash incorporated within there. Yep. And we'll move this up. We'll create our dubbing loop. Grab the dubbing tool. Now I am using we're going to use the dark dun for the CDC and bring that in there. So we can set that there. I've already taken the liberty of getting it in the clamp and pinching it off. So we'll do that. This is always the fun part for me. I tend to lose a lot of it. So, all right. Spin that up. And simply wrap. A couple things to keep in mind whenever you're doing this is make sure all your hackles from your CDC are headed back. As you wrap forward, try and keep everything in pattern. As you can see, it can get a little discombobulated there. And if you have a bobbin holder, that may make it a little easier for you. So some folks like to go heavy on the CDC, others like it a little lighter, more like legs. I tend to go a little on the lighter side, and then we'll tie that off. I have a couple that got away from me there. Bring that in tight. Okay. Go ahead and trim the excess off here from the dubbing loop. Go. Bringing all that back, down a quick collar, couple wraps, right up in behind the head of the bead there. Okay, all the CDCs facing back. So I just saw this trick a number of years ago, and I've been using it ever since. For the head cement or the UV resin, I'll just I like to use the UV, put a little bit on the thread as I'm tying it in. Okay. Alright. We'll cut that off there. Okay. Hit it with the UV. And one of the things I like to do as I'm going through this, of course, is uniformity for me is always the key. So I'll go ahead and cut these back now to where I want them. And I usually try and not extend past the body as I'm going through this. So bring those up. Make sure these lower ones are there. Oh, one of them's got away. Okay. We got one straggler hanging out there, but that's okay. Alright. There you have it, folks. The Jack Daniel pattern. I've been fishing regularly around here, and it's been a killer. So, hope you enjoy. Tight lines. Thought you might like a practical demonstration of the Jack Daniels to conclude this video.
No, you're worn out. Oh, you will. There you go. All right. You nailed that Jack Daniels again. That thing's kicking it.